Closed versus open adoption. Most people know what closed adoption is. Not all know what open adoption is. When one thinks of adoption, most have the idea of parents giving up their parental rights of a child or children to people who then take on the role of parents to that child or children. While that is the case in both closed and open adoption, there is so much more to them both. People should listen to the information here so that if they ever find themselves or someone they know in a situation where adoption is considered or involved, they will be informed. There are many studies and a lot of research that has been done to back up the findings of the benefits and cons of each type of adoption as it relates to the people involved, as well as how both affect society as a whole. So what exactly is closed adoption? AmericanPregnancy.org defines closed adoption as an adoption process where there is no interaction between birth mothers or parents and prospective adoptive families. In closed adoptions, there is no identifying information provided either to birth families or adoptive families. According to ConsideringAdoption.com, in a closed adoption, little, if any, contact is shared between the adoptive parents and the birth parents in an effort to maintain privacy. Nowadays, closed adoption is the least popular type of adoption relationship. Whereas closed adoption leaves many unknowns because of privacy concerns, open adoption is a bit more transparent. Open adoption is defined by friendsinadoption.org as referring to the continuum of options that enables the birth parents and adoptive parents to have information about and communication with one another before placement, after placement, or both. Open adoption may include the exchange of communication between birth and adoptive parents that includes letters, emails, telephone calls, text messages, and/or face-to-face visits. There are several levels of openness involved, and no two open adoption plans are quite alike. With both closed and open adoption, there are both benefits and cons to each of the parties involved in the process. What are the benefits of a closed adoption? For birth mothers or birth parents, closed adoptions allow for the most privacy and may provide some birth mothers or parents with that sense of closure many are seeking. For the adoptive parents, a benefit of closed adoption is the sense of privacy that comes with it. ConsideringAdoption.com states that with closed adoption, adoptive parents will not have to do things like remember to send pictures and letter updates periodically throughout the year. They will not interact with either of the birth parents at the hospital, and they will not talk on the phone or exchange emails with the birth parents. The site also states that there are rarely any benefits of closed adoption for the child. What are the cons of closed adoption? For the birth mother and birth parents, there are a lot of unanswered questions that come with a closed adoption. ConsideringAdoption.com says that the birth mother or birth parents will not receive any updates about how their child is growing up with the adoptive parents and will never know if their child is happy, nor what he or she looks like. All of these contribute to the uncertainty of birth mother parents that they will likely feel later on in life, and they may wonder, did I make the right decision? They also may have feelings of guilt or grief. For the adoptive parents, the biggest con of closed adoption is having such little information about the birth parents and their medical histories. There are a lot of unanswered questions for them as well. For the child, the biggest con of closed adoption is that they have so many questions about their birth parents and why they were put up for adoption. They may never get the answers to those questions and may always feel like a part of their life is missing. What are the benefits of open adoption? In contrast, the benefits for birth parents with an open adoption include the option to find adoptive parents for their baby, talk to them and meet them, being able to create an adoption plan for their child, and the ability to directly answer questions their child may have about why he or she was placed up for adoption, according to AmericaAdopts.com. Benefits for the adoptive parents include the ability to talk and meet with the child's birth parents, having access to medical information about their child in the case of a serious illness, and the support and encouragement from their child's birth parents in their child rearing decisions. For the child involved, benefits most definitely include a deeper understanding of who they are and where they came from, the ability to have a relationship with their birth family over the years, and no need to search or to fantasize about their birth parents. What are the cons of an open adoption? For the birth parents, according to AmericaAdopts.com, these may include the possibility that the family they choose to raise their child will change their minds before the placement, and the possibility that adoptive parents may want more or less contact than originally outlined in the agreement. For the adoptive parents, the cons of open adoption can include the possibility that they may not be chosen by prospective birth parents, the possibility that the birth parents can withhold important key personal or medical information about themselves, and the possibility that the birth parents could also want more or less contact than agreed upon. For the child, possible cons of an open adoption may be that, depending on the circumstances and individuals involved, he or she will still have unanswered questions about their adoption. They may not ask questions for fear of hurting their adoptive or birth parents. They may feel forced to choose sides in a disagreement between the two sets of parents, and he or she may worry that spending time with or showing support for one set of parents will upset the other one. So how do the differences in a closed and open adoption affect society? Adoption is a thought for a lot of people when they become aware of a pregnancy. Knowing the difference between the two types of adoption allows people to be fully informed while thinking about choosing to put a child up for adoption. It is a difficult decision no matter what, and many people's lives are affected by the process. However, being educated can help clear up a lot of the unknowns that come along with it. It helps also if everyone is informed, because they may know someone who is thinking of adopting and might be able to help that person through the decision-making process in some way. While closed adoptions used to be the most popular form of adoption, nowadays open adoptions are becoming more of the norm. AmericaAdopts.com states that a recent survey found that out of 100 infant adoption programs in the United States reported 5% of their adoptions were completely closed, while 55% were fully open. Both closed and open adoptions have their own definitions, backgrounds, and set of rules and regulations. Both also have their own benefits and cons as well. While both are very different, this information can assure that people will be informed should they ever have to make a decision involving adoption or know anyone that may be thinking of being involved in an adoption.